we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues!
BlueNote Fan Report. Aloha and mahalo. I am Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and this is the program that is by a fan, for the fan, and you absolutely know about you, the fans. Oh man, we are just 45 days from the puck dropping on Blues hockey. And again, this season, we are one of the last teams to start our season. Thank you, NHL. Thank you for shortening our season while you extend everybody else's. Wow, you're so sweet. All right? You know what? You let us have our cup, and now you're going to spank us in the butt, right? No, you can't have any more. But you know what? I really do think the Blues are going to have that type of season. We got Ryan Green saying hello. Jacob Ryball. Hey, Jacob, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Let's go Benson. Let's go Benson. I appreciate it, man. Ryan says, I wish I could start the wave, but it's impossible to do. Yep. Coyotes taste the Blue Note this summer. Not sure about that. Tammy's here. We miss Tammy. She hasn't been around in a while. We miss her. And all her friends. She used to bring lots of people to the show. Other people did too, but you know, if you don't like me anymore and you want to go, bye. Don't let the door hit you where you got split. You know, see ya. Don't need ya. I don't need your toxicity in my life. No, I don't. I need my friends, people who care. Oh, our first preseason games against the Coyotes. You know, I don't really go off of preseason because I know the coaches don't care about it. It's more of just a look at some players and that. So I don't care. Oh, you know what, Ryan? If you hate me, you hate me. You know, you've given me shit before. You're my buddy, man. You give me shit. I don't mind getting shit. Right? I don't mind giving shit. I don't mind if you say I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, I know life gets in the way, Tammy. I'm not saying anything bad. I just, you know, just telling you that we miss you. That's all. That's all that was. I hope you didn't take it wrong. Just saying that we miss you. I am excited for Blues hockey this season. I really am. I'm excited to be doing the shows. You know, getting out there. I've been looking at this. I'm going to do a press release to the radio stations and the news stations in St. Louis about the show prior to it starting, you know? Why not? You know, maybe someone does something on me. I think I got something special. I know you guys are all special, right? I've been working, believe it or not, I haven't sat down at the typewriter yet, but I've been working typewriter. There we go. I guess I should say keyboard, showing my age again, to work on an article about Perron, right? And I've had my original title was going to be the Perron narrative, right? Kind of like I did last year with the Tarasenko narrative, which was right about a year ago. And then I thought about it and I was like, no, that's not a good title. And then I figured out that I think I know what a good title for this article is. And it's the DP57 sacrifice. Right? And I look at it and you know, this is just the thoughts in my head. I haven't written the article yet, but this is kind of the things that I'm thinking about that I'll put in this article. And it comes down to this. A lot of Blues fans are so upset, and I've seen it today. I've seen it in a post today. You know, the Blues put their picture out, you know, like a wallpaper with players on it, and people were upset that Perron's not there. And one guy goes, well, they should have offered him a contract. And I came back and said, well, they did. Oh, well, I don't remember that. And I go, well, you know, this is what happened. And Perron, and this is why originally I wanted to call it the Perron narrative. Perron went out and sold a narrative that wasn't true. Well, it was, but it wasn't, right? He used semantics to play with words. Well, that's what semantics mean, right? To play with Blues fans' minds is what he did, right? He really did do this. When he's on the radio station and he goes, oh, let me get this straight. The Blues didn't offer you a contract. And he goes, not formally. Well, you know, hold on there. Let's stop. Let's stop, first of all. At the end of the season, Doug Armstrong made it known he offered you $4 million for 2 years. He made that offer to you and your agent. What you didn't tell everybody is that you and your agent never opened negotiations after that point. The ball was in your court. You're the free agent. The ball is in your court. What do you want? Okay, so they're telling me this. Now what do I have to do? If you don't do anything, if you don't reach out after he tells you that's what we're looking at, then that's on you, my friend. That's on you. So then they go and they offer the same $4 million to Letty. Well, you know what? Still, you don't do anything. So they offered the money to Letty. And that money stayed there until the day of free agency. The Blues did not sign Letty until free agency opened. Could have signed him earlier, but didn't. So gave you all the way up to the opening of free agency to negotiate and work with them, and you didn't. Doug Armstrong is a chess player. And if you're going to be a good GM, a good, successful GM, you need to be a chess player. Yeah, I'm with you there, Jason. You know, I really am. But when it comes down to, is simply this. When you look, and now look, I like chess. I don't want to say decent chess player. I can hold my own. In a tournament, I would probably lose in the first or second round. I would have more losses than wins. I know that. Okay. But it would be fun to play. And, you know, my issue in chess, and I've been playing this game on my phone, and it's called, and let me bring it up here for you guys, Rocket Chess. And it gives you chess problems. Well, the ones that I have the most issue with, I don't think so. Tage got his money in Buffalo. Didn't get his money in St. Louis. Tage didn't take any of his money. The problem when they give them, the ones that I have the most trouble with, the ones I struggle with the most, are the ones that require a sacrifice. And especially the ones that require the sacrifice of a rook or a queen. I would consider Perron a rook. I really, really would. I would consider Perron a rook. Now, the rook, if you play chess, is a powerful piece. One of the most powerful pieces. He can move horizontally or vertically on any axis, right? And he can move until he is stopped, until he runs up to one of his pieces or until he takes a piece. He protects a complete rank or file. Rank being this way, file being this way, right? Well, with that happening, sometimes that rook, the other opponent, your opponent, can get fascinated with that rook. Well, you could take your rook and put him down in a spot on the queen side of the board to where your opponent attacks your rook and eventually takes your rook on the queen side, yet on the king side, the most important side, leaves it wide open to an attack. I think that's what the Blues did. I think the Blues sacrificed the rook on the queen side to open up a king side attack. And I think that's what they're going to do to the division. By letting Perron go, an offensive player, they solidified their defense. Yes, Liddy is a solidification of the defense. I know a lot of you don't like that. I know a lot of you don't like that, but yes, Liddy has shown that he has figured this defensive system out very, very quickly. Bring it on. You beat me, you beat me. I used to get upset when I lost. I don't care. You know, it's all a learning experience. I know I used to beat guys on the ship, and they would get upset. Oh, they would get. I had a guy running around calling me the devil after I beat him 3 straight games, and they were games where he thought he had me set up. So you know but that's what I'm saying. At this point, you have to look at everything. You have to look beneath the surface. Jason, when it comes to chess, there are people who will never give up a knight. I was not a very good knight player. I'm not. And I know that. I know that. Oh, I know. I seen that. And I think that's going to be cool. I like that. I like that. I'm surprised that the reverse retros for this season haven't come out yet. This close to the season, I would have thought they'd already come out because this is the time when you can sell them, right? I think you got to bring those out long before now, but that's just my opinion. I know some of them have been leaked. For the Blues really, they'd have a hard time with really the clown jersey was the only one that could reverse retro. The only other one I think I could see him doing a reverse retro of would be the Arch jersey, right? I could see him doing that in a white. I think that would be cool. I think that might look cool in a white. But other than that, I can't see it. The pawns wearing, that's easy. Right? The pawns, absolutely easy. That's Walker, Brown, Costin, Akari, the third and fourth lines, right? Your fourth lines maybe. Those are your pawns, right? Those are your pawns, and pawns can be, pawns can be very powerful pieces if used right, and that's what I think that has been my biggest knock on Berube, is that I don't think he uses his pieces right. That's just how I feel. Right? Big shout out to Jacob Roybal, Tammy Pemberton, Jason Nichols, Brad Bond, and John Hefner. They put them thumbs in the air because they care. And if you do it on YouTube, I appreciate it too. I just can't see your name or your number. right? The person that used to share my show on YouTube a lot doesn't do it anymore, but I honestly don't give a flying fuck whether he does it or not, and whether he watches or not. So, if I lose a few people that don't get to see the show anymore because they don't look at it or they miss how I share it, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Night is definitely sneaky, deadly, is so easy to forget. They're chilling there, and then well, you know what? There's some players. Bushnavage and Saad would be the Knights on this team. I think Bushnavage and Saad would be the Knights. Bishops would be Shin and Kairu. I think the Queen would have to be. I think you got two queens there. I think the queens would be. I know. Okay, can't have. But two pieces that act like the queens would be Terashenko and Thomas. O'Reilly is a rook to me, just like Perron was. I think well, you know what? No, I think you could make Thomas a rook. I think you could say Thomas was a rook, O'Reilly's a rook. Right, there's a good there, man. Let's see if I could do this now. I might have to pull up a piece of paper just so I don't get confused. Right? Let's name some of the players. Let's give them some. Let's see what their abilities are and how we would look at their abilities. So on the chessboard, going from left to right, on the back rank, you have a rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, bishop, knight, rook. I gotta give me a little room here. Okay, so the king. King is an easy one. To me, the king is Bennington. Right? We'll put Benny as the king. Right? The queen, I'm going to put Terashenko. Rooks, I got O'Reilly and Thomas. Now, got four more. Got two bishops and two knights. There's one. Barbashev is a knight. I could see that. I could put Barbashev as a knight, and I think Saad would be a knight. Barbie and Saad. And then I threw your bishops to me would be Kairu and Shin. The mighty Shin. Right? That would be your back line, and then I think everyone else would be your pawns. Right? So you've got 16, right? You got 16 places, and there's 20. So I'm missing some guys. So there's 20 guys. 20 guys that dress each night, right? So go back here. Excuse me. Ate some chili earlier, and I'm feeling it. So if you're looking at the pawns, right? Akari, Walker, Brown, and then I guess your other pawns. I don't have anybody from defense here. Falk, Krug, Pareko, Letty, Scandella, Mikola, Bortuzzo. I mean, I missed all of them. I think that in some ways, your defense. Yeah, your pawns can be, I guess. I mean, depending on how you use them, they are sacrificial at times. So I could see your defense being there. Can't believe I completely forgot the defense. Right? But that's just how I see it. right? That's just kind of how I see it. And I think that when you look at the game that way, it opens your eyes to the things that are happening, right? And on a chessboard, and I know I've said this before, the most important part of the board is the center four squares. That is the most important part of the board. I mean, any opening is centered around that. Almost every single opening is centered around taking control of the center four squares. Plain and simple. So neutral zone. And this is why I talk about the neutral zone so much. Right? This is exactly why I talk about the neutral zone. Excuse me. You know, that is the area that you have to absolutely control to control the game. You can attack and defend at the same time. Right? You can attack and defend at the same time. It's easy to do. It really is. But in order to do that, you have to take control of the center four squares. Take control of the center ice. Take control in the neutral zone. And then you can attack and defend at the same time. That is the part of the Blues game that is missing the most. It is downright, beyond the shadow of the doubt, the part of the game that is missing the most. And that is the part of the game that I think most coaches don't focus on. I think the best coaches do. I think the best coaches in the league understand the importance of the neutral zone. And understand the importance of getting the puck through the neutral zone, controlling the puck in the neutral zone, using the neutral zone to make your changes, using the neutral zone for your entrances, right? Those are the things that, to me, make the most sense. Those are the things that when a player does that, when a coach does that, that's a winning team. Colorado controlled the neutral zone in that series. And that was an obvious. The McKinnon, the way he went through the neutral zone and just blew guys away. I mean, everyone talks about, and we talked about it. I talked about it with, I talked about it with Lance the last time about that goal McKinnon scored. And in all actuality, that goal got scored in the neutral zone. That was where it should have happened, right? You know, and then, you know, the great Kadri goal from the great Kadri goal from the finals. You know, you kept hearing, oh, well, they should have stopped him in the neutral zone. They should have done this. Well, they don't talk about the important, they don't talk about the fact that they had too many men on the ice, but that Kadri should have been stopped in the neutral zone, and that's kind of right. He should have been stopped in the neutral zone. God, I hate fucking people like this. I'm dealing with this Jacob or Bolts fan, whoever he wants to be, being a dickhead. I can't stand him, man. I don't know why people got to do that. Why do you got to do that? What's the fucking purpose of it?
I'm going to tell you what the purpose of it is. They have no life, and they love bringing down other people, and they love to get you going. And I when I was doing my show, every Blues game, I haven't done that in a year or two, I'd get people that would just, these people don't know me, and I give out my email address, and I'd tell, hey, if you don't like part of the show, let me know. Let me know what I could do better. And I used to get emails, guy, that you would think this person knew me and I just screwed them over big time. And I'm like, you don't know me. Why are you so hateful? And there's just people like that guy. And, if I was you, this is my personal opinion, wouldn't even mention him, wouldn't even say anything about him. I wouldn't even.
I try not to. I try and block them, but it's still
hard sometimes.
Yeah, they find ways around it.
I know.
And it just makes it hard to deal with, and it affects me because I have to see it. I have to look at this, and I have to unfortunately pay some attention to it.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about, Lance, was I've been having an article, populating in my head that I want to try and work on tomorrow.
Yep.
And I originally was going to call it the Perron narrative, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, it's not a good title. I think the best title is the DP57 Sacrifice.
That wouldn't be bad.
Right? Because I think if you look at what we originally had, Perron was a rook. Perron, on a chessboard, he was a rook. He was that powerful piece that could take control of a game.
But he wasn't the piece.
No, he wasn't the piece. Yep. To me, that's still Tereshchenko. Tereshchenko's the queen. So here, I don't know if you heard this. So here's my back row lineup, right?
Yeah.
My king is Bennington. Goalie, right? Makes sense. My queen is Tereshchenko.
Okay.
My bishops are Kairu and Shin.
Mm-hmm.
My knights are Barbashev and Saad.
Okay.
And my rooks are Thomas and O'Reilly.
That's fair, yeah.
Make your defense your pawns along with your third line.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right? And that is the thing that when you look at it this way, that's just kind of showing you what's happening. And I've seen this in a chess game before. A player, and I've done this, can get focused on the rook. And you can get focused on the rook on the queen side of the board. And when you get focused on the rook on the queen side of the board, you miss what's happening on the king side, the most important side of the board. Well, I think that Armstrong, the thing that I'm looking at here, and this is why this came into play, because, the Blues put out the picture, of the players and that, and, people were, and I seen, I got a couple of things, Perron should be there and da-da-da. And I said, well, wait a minute. It'd have been nice if it accepted the contract. And we went, whoa, no. The Blues didn't offer him a contract.
Guy, I'm going to tell you something. It's slowly happening, but I saw 4 different comments today from people had posted about Perron not being here and how he should be here. It's a farce and it's a travesty. And he's one of our top 3 players ever, which he's not. But I actually saw 3 or 4 people today, guys, say that's not true. We've heard from several sources that he was offered a contract and he turned it down and said he was going to go to free agency. So apparently there are people actually listening to us.
No. And so, this guy goes, oh, wait a minute. I heard they didn't. I said, well, hold on. At the beginning of the season, they offered him 2 years at $4 million. And the guy comes back later and says, oh, well, yeah, I went and researched it and you're right. Well, here's what David Perron took the narrative and tried to twist it to meet his agenda. And his agenda was to make sure that fans blame somebody else.
And that fans would always love him
for him leaving and not him. Well, here's the problem with this. The Blues offered Perron the contract that at the end of the season, I heard Armstrong say it. 2 years, $4 million.
And what a lot of people that are so on his side don't understand. Do you know what he countered them with when they offered him $4?
I don't think he countered at all. That's my point.
No, I know. I'm talking about Perron's camp, his agent.
Yeah, I don't think that this is the thing that he doesn't say, is that they never negotiated back.
No, here's what they said. I don't know if it was a contract negotiation, together, if it was just something they mentioned along with the talking about the contract. They were seeking at that time $6.5 million for 2 years per year is what he wanted. Then he went back to them and kind of hinted around that he could take 5.5. So all you people blaming Armstrong, and like Guy and I said, just being on Perron's side, know the full story before you make a judgment.
I just want to say this because there's somebody that's on YouTube. If you're going to use a fake name, I'm not going to show your comment. If you can't show your name and your face, I'm not showing your comment, and I'm not gonna put them up. So, either be real or, I'm sorry. Even if your comments are good, I'm just not going to do it. I've had too many people fuck me over doing shit like that, and I'm not going to have it anymore. Sorry, I just needed to get that out. No, you're kind of right. Right, and there we go. See, I knew it. All right. You're kind of right. But I also think that for the most part, they didn't negotiate with them. They didn't come back and negotiate in fair in good faith. I don't think that they negotiated in good faith. And Perron doesn't say that. He doesn't come back and say, well, we really didn't go back to him and try and.
No,
okay, David,
you know what he says?
We like you. We want you. This is what we got. Unfortunately, we're cash strapped. This is what we got. Well, take it or leave it. He ended up signing for $750,000 more for a team that probably won't make the playoffs. They're better, but in that division, they could easily miss the playoffs. They can miss the playoffs in his 2 years that he's there. Right? They really could.
And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people go, there's no way he was offered a contract back then. Well, Doug Armstrong knew exactly how much cap space he had. He knew they had to redo Mikola, and they had to redo, who am I thinking of here? Who else? Oh, they had to redo him and the young defenseman. I'm just doing a brain fart here. Not Petrovic, not Petrangelo.
No, it wasn't the defenseman. It was Costin was an RFA.
No, it was another defenseman. It was their other young defenseman that was injured.
Prinovic?
Yeah, Prinovic.
No, I don't think Prinovic got a contract this year.
I'm almost positive.
No, Prinovic was not. Because Prinovic is. Where's Prinovic? Yeah, no, he's an R. Let me double check. I don't think he got one this year. I'm looking at it in the 2018 draft. No, he did. He did. Yep. He got a minimum contract.
Yep, I told you he signed it on July 14th. Yep. So that was those two, and then he knew that Armstrong would have to find a defenseman. He didn't. They didn't know about Letty at that time, but he knew they were probably going to have to find a defenseman. So Doug has known this the whole time, and I can tell you, I know agents. Agents are very aware of a team's cap situation.
Yeah.
So for them to all put this on the Blues. And it saddens me because this could have went totally different, where Perron could have come out and said, I want to thank the Blues, but I just thought it was time to move on. He didn't have to do this.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I think that he tried to make it look like he wasn't the bad guy, when for me, in all actuality, he was the bad guy. Right? He's the one that had the opportunity. He's the one that had the opportunity to do something different. And he didn't.
And a lot of people aren't paying attention to this. A couple days before the draft, Perron's agent called Doug Armstrong and told him, well, if you're not going to give us another offer, then we are going to go into free agency. Is that Armstrong's fault?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not Armstrong's fault. It's not Armstrong's fault at all.
No.
Right?
So then the Blues found out that Letty was basically willing to come back. They did what they had to do.
Oh, no, I would have too. I said it before. I think that Letty, and not only that, so by letting Perron go, by sacrificing Perron, You're allowing your faster guys to get in and do the things that they need to do. You're allowing Kairu, Costin, and so many others to come in and be that guy. To be that guy, and it is what it is, right? This is really starting to piss me off. You're an absolute dick. You know that? You're an absolute, the guy that's doing this shit is an absolute piece of shit and a dick. Okay? You have no life. You're a low life. You're absolutely just nothing. Go away and go bother somebody who gives a shit instead of fucking with me because I'm tired of it. Sorry, but yes, I'm guessing Lance has a ceiling fan. I can kind of see it above you. Yeah. So Jason's putting it out there, and I apologize. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. There's this, and we know who it is. It's the idiot that came on and trying to ruin the show. So he's doing this now, and he's being a real just a jackass. And the problem is, what he's doing is he's filling up the chat, so I can't see your chats. So he's actually hurting you guys, not just me.
The first time you see him on there, block him every single show.
Oh, I try to now. But then he starts using names of real people, and I'm afraid that I could end up blocking the real person. So that's what I got to be careful of.
You'll be able to tell from his first message to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, but he is what he is. And I thought on YouTube that they were a little better on that you couldn't have all these multiple accounts or change. Because if my channel, I'm told I can only change my channel once or twice in a period. You can't, if I change it, I can't change it for 3 months. Yet I see people change their names all the time. I don't get that. I'm not sure how they're doing that. Unless they're changing their... go ahead.
You can also put on YouTube how you're shown. Yeah. So you can change that. I mean,
that I didn't know.
I've never had any limits on.
I didn't.
Yeah, I've only got one YouTube account, but I know people that have 10, 15, 20 of them.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
What do you think? I don't know if we wanted to talk about this. What do you think signing Tyler Pitlick to a PTO? What do you think of that?
Just another body at training camp.
I can tell you what it's for. It's so they can push some of these younger guys, and it's
a body at training camp. The guy the guy was a -11 last year in like 60 games.
No, he didn't play that many games. He played 24 games, I think.
It was a little more than that.
Let me look it up here. Tyler,
because I looked at it before we came on. It was a little bit more.
He played 14 games last season.
No, because he played for 2 teams last year.
Oh, okay, he played 39 games.
Okay, I thought it was a little more than that.
Yep, 39 games.
All right, yeah. So,
yeah, he's a body, but I also think he's there to challenge people.
And I could see that, but yeah, 29 games. He had 5 points. He was a -11.
Yep.
He's not. He won't crack the roster. He'll never make the roster because you also got 2 guys. There's 2 guys on this roster. I think one of them's going to get waived before the season starts.
Well, he's a center. How many more centers do you need?
Yeah. So Josh Levo or Noel Akari, I could see one of them getting waived before the season starts.
I think Levo will.
Right?
Oh.
I think Levo will probably. Oh, but the only thing that might keep Levo on there is Torpachinko being gone till December.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
But Torpachinko is only
once he comes back, they won't be able to keep all them like that. So.
No, so somebody gets waived, somebody gets, waived or put on waivers when Torpachinko comes back. There's no doubt in my mind on that. Right?
It all plays out,
You know what, John? I don't know because right now my finances just can't afford it. Just can't. I'd have to absolutely have a sponsor to pay and bring me in. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what I'd have to do. right? And if I had something like that, then maybe I could. All right. Hey, Wendy, if you wanted to come on, I sent you a link, bud. Jason Nichols says, geez, I want his name. I have 3 savage daughters and they would love to ruin him. I love you, Jason. Right? You know, the problem is he doesn't use his own name, obviously. Right? He hides behind the keyboard. He's a keyboard warrior. Right? He's not going to come on and show his face and actually let his face be shown. No, he doesn't have those balls. He has real tiny, teeny balls that he has to hide behind.
That's what I really miss about stuff, you know, before we had all the social media platform.
Yeah.
If you said something, you would normally have to say it to somebody's face or write them a letter.
Yeah.
You know, you're anonymous now. You can say whatever you want to without consequences. And I've never, you know, you've got to back up and you've got to pay for what you say.
Yeah. No, so I dealt with this somewhat today. Somebody put something on there, and I don't want to get political, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit anyways. You know, I don't care how you feel about the college money getting forgiven and all of that, because it helps me. I'm telling you straight up, it helps me. Right? And straight up, you know, if you're going to post about it, I have the right to say something. And I got told today, well, if you don't like what I post, you can just scroll right on by. Well, no. If you're going to put something out there, be open to debate. You know, that's what this show's about. This show is a debate show. It's about debate. It's about getting out there. Right? And debating legitimately. And that's how I look at it. What do you think, Wendy? Do you think that the Blues not having Perron is a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, one side they're losing one of their locker room players, and the other side they're losing a player that's on the back end of their career. So there's two ways to see it come for a point of view. For you're losing one of your locker room guys that's been with your team multiple times, but seems to be good towards the locker room. But you're also losing a guy who's up there, who's already on the back end of his career. So it's not like it's a major loss, but it's a loss towards like the leadership portion of the team.
Kenny says better with Perron. I don't think so. I think that I was talking about this earlier, and I want because you know it'll be the third time, but to me it was a sacrifice. It was a piece that you had out there that everyone was looking at, and you had to sacrifice it to give other pieces a chance to do their jobs and to be just as effective or even more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you look at a chessboard, most people look at the pawn as the least effective piece. But in all actuality, it's one of the most effective pieces. Right? A pawn can become any piece on the board if used right. And that's the thing. And I think that what's happening here is you're taking a chance. You're pushing pawns to get to the point where one can become better than what you had.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's how I look at it. Here's Shockey said this. I saw this question today. If it was only the original 6, no other teams in the NHL, who would you root for?
Montreal.
Right? I don't think I'd root for any of them.
I could just stay with my team.
Shut up.
Well, I absolutely wouldn't root for them. I think if I would, I'd have to go with the Rangers. I think I'd have to go with the Rangers. And I know someone who would be really pissed at me about that, but right? Not having Perron gives others a chance to play. I think others will step up. I absolutely believe that. We got Kenny. I can't remember. Is Kenny from Australia or England? I think Australia. right? And I know Steven's from Australia. I know I have Australian fans. I've got at least 4 of them, if not a few more. But yeah, so to me, that's what I think's going to happen is you have these step ups, and then I look at the neutral zone of this team, and if this team takes care of the neutral zone, there's a lot of things that are going to take care of itself, right? We were talking yesterday about the Nathan McKinnon goal, right? And you know, I was putting a little bit of the blame, or not yesterday, Thursday, putting a little bit of the blame on Husso for that. But in all actuality, that goal happened in the neutral zone, right? When McKinnon came through that neutral zone and just tore through everybody, and nobody was able to push him to the side or to stop him, it set that goal up. It put Husso in his position. It put, you know, Pareko in his, it put everybody in their position because of what he did in the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I've said this before, and I've had NHL players agree with me completely. 80% of the goals scored in the NHL happen in the neutral zone. Right? What happens in the neutral zone is how those goals get scored, about 80%. And a lot of them agree with that. Australian. Okay, I couldn't remember, Kenny. I've got a couple of fans from England that pop on here and there, so that's why I wasn't sure. But I know Stephen Glass is also on. I want to say he's on the east coast of Australia, if I remember right. I'm not completely sure where, but I know he's out there. Right. So that's what I look at. Oh, excuse me. Gerd acted up on me. I just think that when you control that neutral zone, when you really take that area of the ice and you own it, you own the game, because you can play both offense and defense. You can play both, right? You can attack and defend at the same time. Steven's near Melbourne. Who else is in Nate is near Melbourne, and I'm not sure where Kenny is. So, and Melbourne might be south, I think. I'm not sure.
Mm-mm.
No, I know it's not west, is it?
I think it's northwest.
I'd have to look. No, it's not northwest. It might be southwest. I know northwest is Perth. Right? I know that because I've been there. Or not Perth, Darwin. Perth is west. Southeast. Yeah. It's actually, Melbourne's not that far from Sydney. They're kind of in the same general area, I think.
Same coast.
Yeah. So I mean, they're you know, like New York and Boston almost. I think that might be a way to say it. I don't have a map in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that that's kind of how I'm looking at the map now. Right? 1,000 kilometers apart. Ooh, a little bit further than I thought.
500 miles, 520.
Huh?
About 500 miles.
600 and something, but yeah. So a little bit double, you know, more Chicago. Well, Boston and how far are Boston and New York apart from each other? I know Chicago and St. Louis are 300 miles apart.
279 from where I live.
Yeah. Melbourne. Well, Melbourne. They should be going into summertime now. Their seasons are the reverse of ours, right? Since we're in summer, they're in winter. But Nashville is Chicago, I guess. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I haven't seen this guy in a while. What do you think of Robert Mastamore leaving Boston to go to Arizona State? I think it was a downgrade for him. Less competition in conference. Well, I'm not sure who he's talking about. Who's he talking about, Wendy?
I have no clue.
Yeah. He's got me there.
I think I know, but I'm not going to say because I don't want to look like an idiot.
He's talking hockey, right?
Yeah,
College hockey.
I think the reason, if I'm correct, I think the reason he went is because I think he felt there's less pressure on him in Arizona.
Oh, is this
probably have a
is
better
this college
opportunity
hockey?
to get-
Yep.
He probably
Yeah,
will have
okay.
a better opportunity to get more ice time in Arizona State, even though Arizona State has a hell of a program there.
Well, I mean, college hockey is kicking up. I mean, you just look at Missouri now. Missouri now has two Division I teams, right? They have Missouri has a Division I team, and now Lindenwood has a Division I team, right? And that's our buddy Rick Zombo is the coach of that, right? And he's done an amazing job. He took, he won the Division I AA, and now he's in 1A. Let's see what he can do. I think that he's going to be able to recruit. I think he can recruit there. Right. Got a great facility to play in. And at some point I could see Lindenwood playing their games in the arena in Enterprise. Right. I mean, why not? They give them a couple of years of good seasons. They could sell out. They could put, I mean, doesn't Boston College or some of them play in it used to be the Fleet Center. I'm not sure what Boston. Don't they play some of their games on NHL ice?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Only teams that play NHL ice is Minnesota State. I know plays like one game on the Wild ice a season, and I believe there's one other team, and I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Denver U that plays one game in the Avalanche Arena.
Well, I do know that BU and Boston, two of the colleges play a major game at the Fleet Center every year.
What's a Fleet Center?
Well, it used to be in Boston. I don't know what the name of it now. It used to be called the Fleet Center.
The TD Garden?
Yeah, TD Garden. They play one game. They call it the Beanpot Post or something like that.
Yeah.
The Beanpot Tournament. Yeah, they play that in the Garden. I know. I'm almost like 1,000,000,000% sure of that. Right? Lindenwood's first game is Michigan. I thought Mizzou went to D1. I thought they weren't a club anymore.
I think Lindenwood could fill the family arena. I just don't see them being able to fill the arena.
Maybe not now. I mean, it's their first year, but give them some time.
I just don't see it. I don't see them filling an 18,000, 20,000 seat arena.
No, give them time.
I mean, even in Chicago, if there was a big university, Fighting Illini in Champaign, but even in Chicago, if the Fighting Illini played at Chicago's arena, you wouldn't fill that up. Northwestern,
I believe Northeastern has played a game in the United Center, and they did fill that or fill the UC up, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was Northern Illinois.
Yeah. I don't think that they could do that on a consistent basis.
No.
Game in, game out.
There's times where if it's a good enough game, the Hawks are not in town, they do play those tournaments. Hell, the high school state championship for hockey actually takes place in the United Center, and that for the arena is filled for the state championship for the for high school.
Yeah, I know when they have the Missouri state championships at the arena, there's a lot of people for certain games, but it's not even halfway full.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, it's hockey is building in St. Louis or in Missouri. Hockey is building in Missouri, and I've seen it. You've seen it also, in the players that are getting to the NHL from St. Louis now. You're seeing this buildup, and you're also seeing what the Blues alumni really have done, and how they've cemented what's going on in St. Louis. They have those guys are more should get more credit for what they do for hockey in St. Louis or in Missouri and they don't get enough credit for what they've done.
And I think there's a great program at McKendree College too, over in Illinois. They've got a really good hockey program there. The coach is such a super nice guy. His whole staff is super nice, and he's a player's type of coach. I met him when I was on another podcast, and just a great guy. I can understand why young guys like to play for him.
Last season for McKendree was a bad season for themselves, but they have a good program going for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think last season it was because they had a bunch of freshmen on the top level team, and
they lost a lot of seniors the previous season.
Yeah, no. See, for me, so who will we look to replace Perron's spot, not his talent? I think it's Saad. I think you're going to see Shin, O'Reilly, and Saad. Right? That's what I see is that line. And I don't want to call it a top line, but that line, because I think you have two top lines. I think you have O'Reilly with Shin and Saad, and then Thomas with Tarasenko and Bushnevich. Right? And they can 1A, 1B it. Right? I mean, that's the way I look at it. I don't think Kyrou will get time on that top line, but not right away. I think he's got to earn it. I think he's still, to me, I'm thinking he's still in Berube's doghouse. I don't think Berube forgets shit over the summer, right? I think he's still in Berube's doghouse, and I think he's going to have to really get out there and earn it. I see him being on the third line right now. I really do. I see him, Barbashev, and maybe Akari being that third line.
Akari needs to be on the fourth line.
He's a fourth liner.
You don't want him on your third line.
He's honestly better in the AHL than if he's in the NHL. He should not be a full-time NHLer.
Yeah. He's a fringe NHL player is what he is.
Well, okay. So Barbashev could play wing or could play center with Kyrou on right and Walker on left.
That might happen.
Right? And then you have Akari, Brown, and Levo. Right? That would be your Akari, Brown, and Levo would be your fourth line.
I don't have any faith in him.
Who?
Brown. I have zero faith in him. Yeah.
But you know what? I don't think that they want to waive him.
Well,
he's still in that he's only 24. So they got another year of him before he goes. He's an RFA next season. He's not a UFA. So they got another year of him as an RFA. And I think that, maybe another year under Berube might help him out. But then again, you look at what we got down in the farm, and down in the farm, really, I only see one guy that I think could come up and play with the big club by, say, November. Right? And that's Neighbors. Though I think Neighbors needs more time in the minors. But I don't see anybody else here. Well, actually, no, you have Costin too. I forgot about Costin.
I think Brown will be traded to another team looking for a young guy, but this season, or he won't be back. He won't be back next season.
If Brown is placed on waivers, watch out for a team like the Hawks is.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and I don't think that they want to give him up for nothing.
But you know, sometimes you've got to. I love the kid. I think he's got talent.
The Blues would put Akari or Levo on waivers before they put Brown on waivers.
I don't know about that
because it's just like Neil last season. And they had to send somebody down because Neil came in on a PTO. They signed him because they had a couple injuries. Once those guys came back, they could have waived other guys, but they didn't. They waived Neil. They could have waived Brown again. Remember, at the beginning of the season, they waived Brown, and he cleared waivers.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you've got a better chance of keeping the other two if you put them on waivers. Nobody will go after them.
Yeah,
I
no one
guarantee
will.
you, nobody's going to go after those two guys. You put
No
them on
one will
waivers.
Yeah, and then they
play
go down to the
Yeah,
minors.
yeah, but if you put Brown on waivers, you've got a good chance of somebody giving him another chance. And
I don't think that they want to do that. I think that I think that from the things that I've heard from Armstrong, even last season, they had thought that this was his year to come up, that he came up a year early. Right? That they did. I mean, that's why he got the contract he got, because he came up a year early. Right? They had always thought of him coming up this season, not last season. They got forced to bring him up last season.
who, Brown?
Yeah.
Well, they traded for him.
I know, but they sent him down. They thought he would get a full year in the minors and then come back this year
I'm going
and
to
come
tell
up
you
this year.
right now, Brown is not in the long-term plans of the Blues. Guarantee it. I know that for a fact. And I hate to say it, Guy, in 3 to 4 years, maybe sooner, Walker won't be here. Walker's another guy I think that can give you some minutes. And if you play him in under 50 games, he can help you out. But if you play him too many games and too many minutes, he will get exposed.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna dispute that, but I do want to think. I watched Walker mature this season. Walker matured this season. Walker had probably his best season in the NHL last season. And with this type of team, he could match or beat his numbers from last year. Right? Because I think he's going to get a lot more games. I think he's going to get a lot closer to 80 games than he did last season.
If Walker plays in 70, 80 games, we're in trouble. And I like the guy. I just don't think he's a full season type of guy.
He's not.
If the Blues weren't at the cap right now and had $5, $6, $7 million left, I don't think Walker would be here.
He got 30 games. He got 30 games with the Blues. He had 47 with the Thunderbirds. And in the 30 games with the Blues, he ended up with 12 points, 8 goals, 4 assists. He had 19 goals and 25 assists with the Thunderbirds. This was his best season. Basically his best season ever.
Because he's a fringe NHL player.
Because he's been up and down. That's why it's his best season. He got to play in more games.
He may have his name on the Stanley Cup, but he's a fringe.
Actually, he doesn't.
Player.
He doesn't.
Nope.
Did he not get it with the Caps?
Nope.
No, he won it with the Caps, but they didn't put his name on it because he only had 3 games. He only played 3 games with them and didn't play any in the playoffs.
Okay, I thought he got his name on it.
He won. He got a ring, but his name is not on the cup.
Okay.
And the Blues got him in. That was in 18-19. He was still with them in. I think he only played one. No, so I got that wrong. 17-18, he played 7 games. Played 1 game in the playoffs for the Caps, but I don't think his name is on the cup. If I remember right, I don't think his name is on the cup. Who would you rather have, Sean Walker or Nathan Walker? I'm not sure, and I know this is bad of me. I don't know who Sean Walker is. Right? I know Walker's a French player, but I just think I look at some guys. I try and look at guys
plays for the Kings.
For the Kings. How old is he?
Sean, I believe is. Let me check. He's 27.
Well, I mean, they're right about the same age because Walker's 28. Nathan's 28. So, I don't know. I like Nathan's game. I really do. And I saw some stuff in his game. I saw some speed in his game that we hadn't seen in the past. And I also saw a little bit of heaviness in his game we hadn't saw in the past. And I think that combination of speed and heaviness, if he learns how to do that right, he can be a solid third-line player. I know you say he's fringe, but I think he can move up to that level. This is the prime. 28 to 32 is the prime.
But his
No,
prime,
it's
his
not.
prime, 28 to 33 is a prime at 27, something like that. But if this is his prime, that's not good.
In
Because
today's NHL, 28-32 is not even the prime. That's the back end of prime in today's NHL.
I know you love him, guy, and I like his work ethic. I think he's one of the hardest workers, and it's because he works so hard because he loves the game, but he's not as talented as other guys. And I will always see him as a fourth line guy, fringe guy that can give you 30, 40 games, but he's going to get exposed if he plays 80, 82 games.
He's going to get 60 plus this season. I can almost guarantee it. He's on that one way. He's going to get 60 plus.
That's sad.
Right? I don't think so. I think that you got to look at you when you think about why the Blues really lost to the Avalanche. It comes down to one word for me, and it was speed. The Avalanche had speed on us.
But you got to have talent. You got to have talent with that speed. It's like a wide receiver in football. You can run a 4.2, a 4.3 40, but if you can't catch the ball and you can't run the routes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Walker has talent. I mean, you don't score a hat trick in the NHL if you don't have talent.
Guy, I've known a lot of players that are not good that have scored hat tricks in the NHL. You don't have to be, you just have to have luck on your side and get the bounces. The only guys that are consistent are the good
Walker's
ones.
hat trick was not, there was no luck in Walker's hat trick. Those were 3 solid goals. I remember him. I think he may have gotten an empty. I don't think he got an empty netter. I think he had 3 solid goals, and one of them was a breakout. Was a breakaway. 1-on-none breakaway. If I remember right. You know, this isn't a guy just getting, throwing the puck at the net and it hits a skate and it goes in. These were solid sniper shots. The guy can snipe. He doesn't do it a lot, but he can snipe. He has the ability.
It's not a sniper. A sniper is somebody that can score at will and score when they want to. He's not a sniper. Like I said, I like him, but
he's not the type of player he is. He's just a utility guy that can just be played on the bottom line. And if you, for some reason, need him to play up a little bit, you can have him do that. But he's a fringe NHL player at this point. I get that he has a hat trick, but there's some players in the NHL that have scored pure goal scoring hat tricks, and they were not good players. Hell, Andrew Shaw, for instance. I admit for when he was on the Hawks, he was fun to watch, but was he one of the elite players? He has a hat trick with the Montreal Canadiens, and all those goals he scored were a sniper goal. And that's, some players just get lucky with their shots on some nights.
No, I get that. I do get that, and I do understand it. For me, again, I don't look at the surface. I look underneath it. And when I look underneath it, I just see something that's there that can be brought up and used in the right ways. And I think that Walker is one of those guys that under the right system could flourish. Right?
But at this point in his career, it's not going to come. He's 28. That's past the start of a prime in the NHL anymore. The prime starts when you're 26 or 25 in the NHL today. That's how it is. When you're by 28 to 32, you're on the back end of your prime already. Your prime really,
if you're saying prime is from 25 to 32, I see 28 being in the middle, not the back end.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying really the prime really has been starting for players now in today's NHL when they're like 20, 22, and then you start seeing some players drop off after they're hitting 28.
Tarasenko at the age of 29 or 30 had his best season ever. And I think he has the ability. I think he can bring it next. I think he can have the same season or better next season. I think what prime is shifting. And I think that when you take a guy and you put him in the right system, in the right spot, where he can flirt. Now, you look at Walker when he played with Washington. There was no way Walker was ever going to. Tage Thompson, absolute example of this. If Tage Thompson was on the Blues right now, he would be considered a fringe player. Even at his young age, he would be considered a fringe player. But because he was able to go to the right system, the right place for him, he's now a star.
Yeah, but
Walker, this is a place where Walker can be a star.
He is never going to be a star. At 28 years of age, he is who he is.
Yeah.
He's never had a season where he's been a breakout guy and all of a sudden just come on the scene and take over for 3, 4, 5 years. It's the same way with goaltenders. I can only think of 1 or 2 goalies who have been a top goalie in the league after the age of 28. One of them is Dominik Hasek. And the only reason he didn't come in earlier because he was playing for his national team. But it very, very rarely happens. Like I said, I like the guy. I think he's a good role type of player. But I can't call him a star and I can't call him a sniper. I just can't.
I love the look on Whitney's face. You don't get that reference, do you, Whitney? You don't get that, do you?
Why would someone say that?
You don't get that reference. That's actually a quote. That's an actual quote, and you don't get it, do you?
I understand it, but I'm actually shocked YouTube was allowing it to be published because YouTube flags anything with that word, those type of words in it.
Right? I think this is one where they're realizing what it is. That's from Animal House.
I know it's from Animal House, but
okay, well, the look on your face.
I'm actually shocked YouTube. That's why
he's done it. He's done it before. I've seen it. I've seen him do it before. So
I know, but YouTube is known for flagging words like that. And I
could see Facebook flagging it quicker than I could see Facebook flagging that.
There's usually YouTube censors any words that you type in. Like if you write in a word, if you even cuss, like if you drop the F-bomb in the freaking chat, it usually flags it immediately. It won't flag it under yours because it's from your YouTube. This is from your channel. Here, I will write it on mine.
Oh, mine went through. Yeah. It might be because it's my channel. I know.
Yeah,
I think you have to. I think you have to put that. I think you have to put that in there that certain words aren't allowed.
No, you don't. It's freaking YouTube.
Yeah, I was watching a World War II special because I love history.
Yeah,
and one of the guys said that he had to redo it because he said that word in it, and he had to say that he had to come up with a different thing, or he had to say artillery. Or something like that. He could not say that B word.
Well, McDavid got it through.
Well, that's
no,
McDavid.
He didn't. You're able on StreamYard. You could see the chats that are getting flagged, but on my end, I have the chat pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can't see it.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing it, and I'm not seeing it flagged. So I guess I'm seeing it differently.
YouTube has some censored words. Let me see if that's even in there by Robert.
Yeah, they're getting picky about stuff like the M-word murder.
No, Robert's post. Actually, Robert's did get it through on YouTube.
Did mine?
Yeah, yours did because you own the channel.
You mean the one where Robert said chuckity chuck 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 chuck?
No.
Well, I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm pulling it up now. Actually, no, I'm seeing it. Oops. Yeah, it didn't show it.
Yeah.
McDavid showed. McDavid got me on Yakupov. By that logic, Yakupov was good. He had 2 hat tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the right logic right there.
And he was the number 1 pick.
I agree. McDavid,
Perfect.
you're right. You can compare freaking.
Perfect.
That's a perfect comparable. He was
Okay, fair enough.
Yakupov was terrible. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Put it to you this way, though. If somebody said you want Nail Yakupov for 2 years or you want Walker for 2 years,
I'll take Walker.
I would take Walker.
Yeah, we had Yakupov. I was excited when Yakupov came. I'm thinking, oh, good. Change of scenery. This guy's going to get it together. He's got all the other Russians, and he just didn't care.
No, he didn't care.
I don't think that he has the
KHL champion
Nail
Yakupov.
Right?
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Added me on that Twitter little spiel you were going on today. I was like, what the hell happened? I was actually in the movies when you did that, so I didn't see it until after the movie ended, and I was like, what the fuck happened?
What did I miss?
There was some guy on there basically saying that Patrick Kane had asked for a trade, and how do I know that he hadn't asked for a trade? And I kind of told him what I had heard, not just from Wendy, but when we talked about it, I had heard that because I asked Kane, the people saying that Kane's wanting to be traded. What do you hear, Wendy? And so this guy was basically saying Kane and Tays can be traded anytime, and that they're probably shopping him. And they could be. They could be
traded anytime.
Yeah.
But they have not talked with Kyle Davidson to be traded.
Yeah.
They won't ask to be traded until probably closer to the deadline to see how things are going.
I actually think they're going to be January guys. I think they're guys that are going to get traded in January.
It'll be February still.
Right.
What day is the trade deadline this year?
It's in March again.
I thought it was March 6th.
Mid-March. I want to say it's mid-March.
March 21st.
March 21st.
So it's as late as it was last year.
Yes, that's what it shows on my end.
Actually, that might not be right because I think, is that a Tuesday?
That looks like a Tuesday.
Okay, because I thought maybe that was last season's.
Well, yeah, it was.
Because it sounds like the same date as last season. So,
maybe they haven't fully set the deadline yet. But yeah, I'm just sorry. A freaking Blues heavy outlet like freaking Cam and Strickland, that they should not be getting involved on the Kane and Tays talk.
Nope. Well, did you see what I put in there? I thought you guys were better than this.
Well, actually, so Cam and Strick are not as heavy Blues as you would think. They are definitely.
The thing is, they don't have any connections with Chicago. They should not be getting involved on talks like this.
Well, they're NHL wide now, and they do have some connection to Chicago.
Not really. They don't have.
They have our friend.
What?
I can't think of his name now. The guy you and me.
Jamal Mayers?
Yeah.
Well, that's not much of a connection, really. By a connection, I'm just talking about they don't cover the Hawks. Why, on their podcast ever, why do a topic like that right now, even though they know it will piss off Chicago fans?
And there's no proof.
Yeah. There's no proof that Patrick Kane's going to the New York Islanders.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you on that.
Remember that tweet right before the trade deadline where somebody put out, Nick, that Patrick Kane is expected to demand a trade this evening.
Yeah. by who was that?
I can't
believe that
remember.
was what?
I can't remember who it was.
I think it was I know it was one of the freaking hockey insiders that don't know
Yeah,
about Chicago.
yeah. I like the Cam and Strick podcast. I like it, but I think they've been trying to go more national lately.
Yeah.
Since
Hey,
about a
if
year
we do
ago.
a show tomorrow, because we're kind of late, the Blues 32 and 32 came out today. We can look at that tomorrow.
All right.
Go over that. They have the fantasy look with Tarasenko being a top right wing and Bushnevich having potential. The prospects being Prunovich and Neighbors. Bolduc ready to jump from juniors. I could see that. Then the questions facing the Blues, bounce back season from Bennington, future of the Tarasenko and O'Reilly among concerns. The inside look putting them as a Stanley Cup favorite or a contender. I would agree with that. I'd agree that the Blues are a contender.
And I want to say one more thing. Bolduc is not coming to play a full season, even a partial season. If they have him up for some reason, it'll be a few games. He's not coming up. He's not. I don't know. I don't know why this fascination with him. All of a sudden, because the media put out some stuff. Oh, I'm loving to see what Bolduc's going to do this year with the Blues. He's not.
He's only getting 9 games, if that. Right, I see him maybe getting a tryout, but right now the Blues don't have room to put him in there for a 9-game tryout. To be honest,
I told somebody the only reason they would ever bring him up this early is if they had major injuries.
Right. Yeah, I could see that if there are some major injuries. I'm trying to look on the NHL media site for something with, the dates for the season dates, and I don't see anything.
They probably haven't fully. They should have had the deadline set by now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked everywhere. It's not even on their media site.
Yeah. The reason why I would think they would have had it set because the season's in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's probably set. It's just I don't know where it is. I'm on the media site now.
Yeah,
Really
it's not on there.
Published.
I can't find it. I was shocked. I don't know if everybody saw my tweet today with the picture of Dryden and Esposito in the 72 Summit games. Mm-hmm. I can't believe that Ken Dryden's goals against was 4.75, I think, or 4.25. Yeah, 4.25. And Esposito's was 2.75. That's a 4.25, even for back then. That's a lot of goals for a guy like Ken Dryden to give up.
Yeah. Well, hey man, what a good show! An hour and 25 minutes in, and we had to deal with some jackasses, but the jackasses are now gone. So, is what it is, and appreciate both of you guys for coming along. I think we'll do a show tomorrow, man. I think we'll do one tomorrow. I want to go over that 30 and 30. NHL.com, talk about it. We can do that. Now I want to try and work on my article. Maybe I'll have it out there. Morton says, Wendy, it'd be amazing if we got those guys and we won a cup. You would probably go crazy. You would be upset. I don't see Kane ever accepting a trade to St. Louis. I don't think St. Louis, even if they were the top team in the league, they had all the pieces.
I can't see Kane or Taves ever deciding to go to St. Louis because they're Blackhawks.
Yeah. Right?
It would be like if Al Secor or Savard came to the Blues at the end of their playing years. They're Blackhawks. They're not going to go.
It would be like Brett Hull going to Chicago.
Oh,
right. Even it was bad enough he went to Detroit.
Made a little bit more sense than going to Detroit
because of his dad. Yeah.
He did go to Detroit. Oh, I think Detroit was an absolute jab at the Blues.
Probably.
Oh, we know, Bob. We know. No, I think him going to Detroit was a complete jab because he actually was ready to retire. He didn't think. I mean, he said, I've seen the thing with that. That came out of nowhere. Him going to Detroit came out of nowhere. His name, never thought about going to Detroit, never looked at going to Detroit. That just, his name just, they called his agent one day and said, hey, would Brett be willing to come here for, and for a reduced role? And Brett said, huh? Detroit? Well, he got a second ring there. And really what he ended up doing there was, and I know the guy's name and I can't think of it. The young kid, the young Russian. He was there to mentor him, huh?
Oh, Fedorov?
No.
That's
huh?
Dylan.
Datsuk.
Yeah, that's it.
Datsuk. He was there to mentor Datsuk.
Even though they were two totally different players.
Different players, but he was there to mentor him in the it's the line, the story that's out there. And I know I've told it before, but I guess they're coming back. Datsuk took a shot or missed a pass or whatever, and they're coming back to the bench, and Hull is just laying into Datsuk for not passing him the puck. And Datsuk tells him, well, you were covered. And Hull says, I've scored 400 goals covered. Pass me the damn puck. Right? So, he was there to mentor Datsuk into I think the job was to turn him into an Adam Oates. Right?
Well, Datsuk was probably one of the best two-way forwards in NHL history.
Is he in the Hall yet, or is he
almost? No, because he just officially retired from professional hockey last year.
Oh, so he's got 2 more years to wait.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I was going to say something real quick. Blues fans look forward to all kind of stuff. Apparently, the Blues will be the first team to play against the Sabres when the Sabres come out with their third jersey, which is going to be their old black and white and red jerseys.
Yeah,
and the Blues will be the first
I like
team.
that.
Yep.
I like that buffalo head.
I did too. I always love that.
The dominant Cassick jerseys.
Yep.
I love it. Okay, guys, great night. Wendy, thank you so much. Lance, thank you so much. This is Guy, the Y Blues fan, saying aloha mahalo. See y'all on the next Blue Note Fan Report tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be here or be square.